Hey, this is John. Welcome to the Pickled Punks. There were a lot of rules that were explained in the beginning, but the one rule that I didn't quite understand fully was the extent at which the Laster glass could influence and change things and absorb things. That's the one thing I couldn't quite give a full grasp on, the extent at which it could do that. I mean, it literally...
Can I give my opinion?
Go ahead, sir. Of course.
So I think the way it worked is that they essentially, it's all just in the mind. So they never really leave the room. So in the movie, you're seeing all these scenes, but that's really just their imagination. So that's how the glass is really working, is really just fucking with how they think, what they think is happening.
And I'm cool with that part.
Okay.
The part that I have confusion over is that it evidently kills plants. That's a very...
That's clear.
That's a concrete, sort of influence on a biological entity that's more than just a psychological understanding of something. And it seems to absorb dogs. I mean, yes. So those are two things that are literally being removed or influenced environmentally. That's not just a mental understanding of what's happening.
That's a fair point.
My opinion on what was occurring, they talked about its sphere of influence.
Sphere.
In the auction house, the glass spent a lot of time covered with a drape. It appeared that each time the drape was removed and the glass was exposed, it gave the glass an opportunity to absorb energy. It began with plant life because it's the lowest form of life in the area, and it would suck the energy out of the plant life, thus killing the plants. Then it went on to lower life forms, dogs, cats, birds, squirrels, whatever happened to be nearby. Yes. Oh. Lower than humans.
Okay.
And
moving up.
As it gained energy by absorbing the life force of the plants and the life force of any nearby domesticated pets and the children and the people in the area, it was feeding off of their energy. And as it gained energy, its sphere of influence expanded. Sphere. So in the beginning, it could basically affect what was going on in the father's office. And as it gained the energy, it was able to affect things outside of the office, throughout the entire home, outside of the home. Quit laughing at me.
Constants aren't necessary when you start a word. I mean, they're optional.
I've always thought so. So anyways, that's my theory, that it was gaining energy as it fed off of things. Once the glass was exposed, it gave it the ability to draw others' life force into it and gain power, and thus every time it gained a little bit more power, it was able to affect a wider area around it.
Right. I get that. I think that the issue is just it can literally absorb an animal, a dog, maybe fruit flies, maybe some other lower form sort of animal life or insect life. And it can directly kill plants, maybe other fungi or, maybe a moth. But
what about a common household mold? If it could absorb common household mold, then I'd break that bitch into little pieces and sell it like Comet, because there'd be people out there who are going to I'm going to eliminate the mold in my house with a little piece of Oculus.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard to get rid of.
It'll be like Tide. Now with extra Oculus.
Once it gets in the floorboards or into your ceiling rafters, mold is not easy to get rid of.
One thing that I liked about the movie,
unless you got a large supply of Oculus.
I liked how they. I thought it was well made in the sense that they mixed the different narratives, like the past and the present, and at one point the adult version of the character would be looking at the childhood version of the character, and they would seem to see each other, and it just kind of messed with your perspective on the narrative.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, and it made me think, as the main timeline was taking place from the adult perspective, did the children during their timeline actually notice the adults? Was that a foreshadowing for them when, before Tim ended up in the mental ward because he shot his father, did he actually see the adult version of his sister leading him down the hallway? Those types of things, just ponder. I think about that all the time.
What's it called? That type of narrative style?
I have no idea.
Fucked up.
Fucked up style.
The fucked up narrative style.
It's like flashbacks, but it's
yeah.
not. They're kind of like occurring at the same time. Like,
It's a commingling of timelines.
There you go.
that sounds
Yeah.
good.
But it's easy to get confused in that kind of technique. But I think the movie was good in that it kept you with it. Like it didn't really confuse you. It was just a cool effect.
Yeah, the editing was top notch, where it would be even in a panning camera effect, where it switched from current time to previous time, and you didn't really notice it right off the bat until you realized, oh, wait a minute, now we're looking at it from the child's perspective.